G20 Finance Ministers are readying themselves to meet in Durban on Thursday, but the gathering is likely to be overshadowed by political tensions. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has indicated that he will once again be a no-show. That's after he skipped February's gathering of finance ministers and central bankers. Trump's tariff threats are also looming large, and strained relations between Washington and BRICS countries are in focus. 91 seen an increase in assets under management. At the end of June, its AUM sat at £139.7 billion, which is nearly 8% higher than a year ago. The increase includes £1.9 billion from the transfer of Sanlam Investments UK's active asset management business to 91 UK. Under a deal signed last year, 91 will become Sanlam's primary active investment manager, gaining access to an extensive retail distribution network. The South African leg of that agreement is expected to be finalized later this financial year, with those assets transferring once it's complete. Global Credit Ratings has upgraded Lewis's outlook from stable to positive and affirmed the retailer's long and short-term national issuer ratings. The company says this move reflects growing confidence in the group's ability to sustain growth and maintain a strong liquidity position despite a tough consumer environment. GCR added that continued earnings growth and a stable credit performance could lead to a future ratings upgrade, but any deterioration in revenue, collections or liquidity could place pressure on the current rating. The mining sector has managed to eke out a small gain in output. Year on year in May, production rose 0.2%. The largest positive contributor was iron ore, while manganese ore and coal were the biggest drags. The latest print is a recovery from a 7.7% contraction in April and ends a 6-month streak of decline. Numsa and train operator Bombella have resolved 4 key labour issues but remain deadlocked over wages. The two sides have agreed on housing and transport allowances, night shift rates and a performance bonus. But salary increases remain the sticking point. Numsa has revised its demand from 7% to 6%, while Bombella is holding firm at 4.2%. The union has now launched a balloting process to decide on the way forward. Further afield, Nvidia said it plans to resume sales of its H20 artificial intelligence chip to China days after its CEO, who is visiting Beijing, met U.S. President Donald Trump. Here's more detail in this package report.
Nvidia is set to resume selling AI chips to China. The company said in a statement that it's seeking permission from Washington for the move. That comes days after boss Jensen Huang met with US President Donald Trump. Nvidia's AI chips have been a key focus of US export controls over concern they could be used by China's military. The firm has said the curbs could cut its sales by $15 billion. Now Huang is expected to hold a media briefing in Beijing on Wednesday, where he's attending a trade expo. His visit will be closely watched by the US, where 2 lawmakers have asked him not to meet companies linked to defense or intelligence applications. On Tuesday, he told state media in the country that it was crucial for American companies to establish roots in China. Nvidia faces growing competition from Chinese tech rivals, including Huawei. But firms in the country remain hungry for its AI chips. Now the US giant says it will develop a new model for the Chinese market, ensuring it is fully compliant with all US export controls. The move to resume sales comes after Washington and Beijing agreed a provisional trade truce. However, it's unclear how long that will last, with China facing an August 12th deadline to reach a durable deal with the White House.
And Mark Zuckerberg says Meta platforms will spend hundreds of billions of dollars to build several massive AI data centers for superintelligence, intensifying his pursuit of a technology he has chased with a talent war for top engineers. Here's more detail.
Mark Zuckerberg is placing a very big bet on AI. The Meta Platforms boss said that the firm would spend hundreds of billions of dollars building several massive data centers. They're meant to drive Meta's bid to win the race for so-called superintelligence. That's AI that exceeds human capabilities. Zuckerberg says the first of the new mega data centers, dubbed Prometheus, is set to come online next year. He touted the strength of the company's core advertising business to justify the spending. Meta last month reorganized its AI efforts under a division called Superintelligence Labs. That followed setbacks for its Llama 4 model and the departure of key staff. The firm is betting the new unit will generate revenue from products like smart glasses and new advertising tools. It has also been recruiting aggressively to staff the new outfit. However, one analyst said Zuckerberg's AI investment plan is really a long-term bet, not one that will generate major income anytime soon.